Hello, business law students. Let's get after chapter number 13. All right. 3 seconds of review. To have a valid contract, we have to have a legitimate offer, an unequivocal acceptance, and then there has to be consideration. All right. Today we're going to talk about consideration. What is the exchange? What is the things that goes back and forth? First, let's watch a little video here.
One thing I've noticed about football fans
Bear with me and let me share.
is they all talk like the players can actually hear them.
Proud of you.
But when you have
In this video, we will discuss consideration and the formation of a contract. Consideration is one of 3 elements that are needed to make a contract. Elements are like ingredients. Think of the ingredients you might need for a soup. And if we're missing and changing ingredients, then we don't have soup. Our elements, or ingredients, for a contract are offer, acceptance, and consideration. An easy way to understand consideration is that each party has to give something and get something. And just make sure that what a party is giving is not something that party already has to do. For example, let's say Peter asks Sally to paint his fence and Sally says no. That's not a problem. Sally doesn't have to paint anybody's fence. And Peter doesn't have to pay anybody if he doesn't want to. But Peter's fence is not going to get painted. Now let's say Peter and Sally agree that Sally will paint Peter's fence for $100. Now we have a contract, because now we have an offer, an acceptance, and consideration. Peter is promising to do something he doesn't have to do to pay $100. And in return, Sally is promising to do something she doesn't have to do, paint his fence. Each party is giving something, and each party is getting something in return. Keep in mind that the amount of consideration in the United States usually does not matter. Let's say Sally asks Peter to paint her car in return for $5. A court will probably not worry whether or not $5 is enough consideration. Each party is promising to do something in exchange for the other party's promise. And if we have an offer, acceptance, and consideration, we have a contract. If you'd like to discuss contracts or any other matter related to U.S. law, stop by the
I know so simplistic, but I love that little video because it so accurately describes what consideration is. You give somebody, each of you give something. Okay. Um, the text, let's look at the way the text looks at it. And again, some of the text I like, and some I think it's too simplistic. Come on. Sorry. In any event, let's keep it at this level. Value in return for a promise or return for performance. So when you talk about consideration, you want to talk about it in 2 parts. Something has to be given that is legally sufficient, and there has to be a bargain for exchange. It's agreed what each are going to give. Now, has to be legally sufficient, and that can be you're promising to do something that you had no prior legal duty to do. I'm going to paint your fence, okay? And obviously I was not obligated to do it. Or I'm going to refrain from taking an action that has a legal right to undertake. Grandpa, I won't smoke for a year if you give me $5,000. I don't smoke, by the way. I have a cold. and this exchange must be bargained for or agreed. Now, there actually was a case, believe it or not. Nephew said to uncle, I won't drink or smoke till I'm 21, and in return for $5,000. Uncle kicks off. Nephew goes to his estate and says he owes me $5,000, and the estate trust say, well, that wasn't legitimate consideration. That you wouldn't smoke or drink. How did that benefit your uncle? But the court held the nephew had the legal right to drink and smoke, and he agreed not to for a such and such period of time. And they awarded him the $5,000. It was adequate consideration. Right. What kind of things are not adequate consideration? Well, pre-existing duty. Fireman shows up to your house, which is on fire, I might add, and says, okay, for $500, I'll put your house out. Well, he already has a duty to put the fire out of your house, assuming you're within the fire district, blah, blah, blah. So that's not legitimate consideration. Second, hey, I'm your buddy and I'm your real estate agent. I'm gonna go ahead and sell your house for zero commission. You're like, oh, that's so cool, Kevin. Here, I'm gonna give you $1,000 after you sell it. Well, morally, I should, the $1,000 should be exchanged, but it is not a legitimate enforceable contract because it was consideration for something you've already done. It's squirrely and immoral not to pay it. An illusory promise. It's not a definitive promise. Boss says, I'm going to give everybody $1,500 bonus if you work on Christmas, if I think you do a good job. It's vague, it's illusory, etc. And then he doesn't pay you and you sue him. Well, for not giving you the bonus. Well, unfortunately, shame on you for agreeing to something that was so indefinite and so illusory that it was 100% within his judgment. Okay. Consideration. There are some times when you literally don't have to have consideration for a contract to be enforceable or a quasi-contract. One is called promissory estoppel or restitution, and I'm going to let you watch your own video at the end here. The second would be statute of limitation barred debts. Your credit card company comes to you after 10 years of not paying, and you're like, okay, I'll pay 500 instead of 1,000 I owed. Well, you're not required to pay that because you were required to pay zero. They hadn't sued you in time, well past statute of limitations. Charitable subscriptions are always considered. I can welch on, I agreed to give this charitable amount. I can welch on that because there really wasn't adequate consideration given. Okay, man, this was fast, but I'm going to let you on your own watch through promissory estoppel and restitution. Again, this link is in the lectures that are online, the lecture outlines. So I'll let you read that, and I will see you soon in our next lecture. Thank you.